back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through. He's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nanoblade immediately to back like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back here to week number 3 here in CGL Season 17. Halfway through this first stage of the tournament. Dex, we've got a matchup in our EU GM tier. Tank players only versus Giga Impact. You ready to get this one rolling?
I'm ready to get this one started. I believe these two teams are looking to get started as well. These two teams haven't had the best start to the season of the maps that have been played for these teams. Only one team has been able to win a map so far. That's been Giga Impact. GM Tank players only has only been able to be swept. They're looking to bounce back today, get a good victory against probably another good team in Giga Impact here, who's also looking for their first victory.
I mean, hey, someone's got to get their first win here today. Exciting stuff for these two teams. I'm not quite sure how the math is gonna rock out for these teams for the mid-season tournament, but every little bit of space that you can gain as you inch closer toward that postseason is going to be super duper important. So every bit counts here for these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, you take a win any way you possibly can here. You already see Busan will be our first map of the night here. And just a quick reminder, week 3, that means all 5 new heroes are in the hero pool this time around. They can be banned, they can be played. It's the first time we're seeing them here in CGL, as last week they were basically said, nope, you're not going to be able to play them just yet. Give it a week. And now that the teams have had the heroes for a week, it's going to be really interesting to see what we see from them, considering, well, we know how strong some of them are, we know how weak some of them are, and we know just honestly what the meta still is at the moment. Tank players only going to be getting the first ban here. Fletch, what do you see them going after?
So it's kind of a crapshoot, right? There's not a whole lot to go off of with these first games usually in CGL and lower leagues. It's always, what do these teams not want to play against? What are they comfortable against? There are a lot of really good options. My personal selections well, that's not one of them that I was expecting, but D.Va gonna be banned here on Busan. Not the worst, I suppose. D.Va is still in a very good spot, even with the prevalence of Domina on the tank role. So I guess I can see that one for them.
Yeah, and it makes sense right now. Like I said, D.Va's still pretty strong. You might have a couple other tank players on this team, again, tank players only, who maybe are a little bit more comfortable going up against other stuff. That still leaves the Winston, still leaves the Doom, still leaves Wrecking Ball there. But like I said, Domina, Zarya, Orisa, I feel like I'm still seeing a lot of playtime here from them. But now Giga Impact. Do we see probably what has been the most popular ban in comp here as of late, the Cat, be banned out? Do you see them go after something on that DPS line here? I think it's going to be very interesting. I could see them going after something maybe like a Vendetta, trying to negate maybe a little bit of that Zarya play, but no, it's going to be the Tracer instead. And Honestly, Fletch, that's a pretty safe ban here. I feel like Tracer, always strong, always a good idea just to get rid of them.
Yeah, I think Tracer is always going to be exactly that, the safe ban, right? You don't, if a good Tracer's on the other team, you're going to have a bad time. Banning Tracer is whatever. And to speak to the Jetpack Cat bans in competitive on the ladder, it's because ladder players are bad.
Yeah.
Right?
As one of them, yes.
It's more of an aim thing. If these players are confident in their aim, Jetpack Cat really does not pose much of a problem outside of that catnap ultimate. Jetpack Cat is a very effective DPS here as well as a support, putting out a lot of damage if the player is confident on the character. But Jetpack Cat's a circle, right? Not the hardest thing to get a good shot in on if you are confident in your aim. But let's get a look at these rosters. Smix and Alpin on the DPS for tank players only, a bit counterintuitive. Lingenstyle and Ananas on the support, and the only actual tank, of course, going to be Olnor there in the middle.
Yeah, this entirely Swedish team here only has those 5 members, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see them go throughout the season, and especially the night. But for Giga Impact, Resurrect and Fish, your DPS line, Sloth, your tank, Nathanitis as your support, and Mr. Jade next to them there on that support line. I mean, they have some subs here, so we could see a lot of movement in this Giga Impact squad throughout the night, but this looks like a pretty strong starting 5 for them here, Fletch.
Yep. Like we said earlier, these two teams trying to get their first win of the season. Looking for it here, any little bit of footing, and I'm interested to see what we rock out on, right? You look toward Korea where we saw the OWCS boot camp, right? Where Domina was played a significant amount alongside the usual suspects. Kiri Lucio was very, very abundant. The DPS line almost always consisted of Sojourn and Vendetta. Vendetta has been incredibly powerful. A lot of the higher tier teams relying on having a good Vendetta player. If your Vendetta gets caught out a lot, you're gonna have a hard time taking that space that Vendetta is so effective at taking. We saw it a lot in those higher level matches where the Vendetta that died less is usually the one that is getting more value, as you would kind of expect. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see, do these two teams rock out on what is considered the meta, even if they might have been nerfed just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Even like you said there, Vendetta's been kind of nerfed a little bit here and there, but it still hasn't really affected their effectiveness. And that really comes down to, Zarya's still there. Zarya really hasn't been nerfed either. That's why you still see them get played a lot here. But at least coming out of the gate here, you don't really see that just yet. You do see Alpin over there for TPO on the Vendetta, but it's Olnor on the Malga, at least to start, just for the brief moment. The other side, Giga Impact, I think you're really looking at what we might be seeing for them here. Fish on the sim might just be for a TP out. We do know for TPO that Smixon has basically told us that they are in sim jail, so that might actually be a real pick coming out from them. If not, you might see him go over to that Sojourn like you've already talked about here. Giga Impact Fish might surprise me if it's just the sim TP over to the Vendetta of their own, but it's not. I actually like this kind of playstyles coming out from both of them. I'm actually really surprised to see the Malga stick here for TPO, as TPO, it feels like they want to get up into your face right away. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, maybe some issues for the side of Giga Impact.
Yeah.
3 players dead off the rip for GI there. We didn't really get to see much of what happened, did we?
No.
We saw a little bit of the poke there from the Ramatra, but other than that, just a Malga overrun looked like it kind of took over the game.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of saying before we saw 3 members die in the blink of an eye, is that team for TPO really, or the comp for TPO.
That was bars.
that TPO, their entire team composition is based off around they want to be in your face. They want to be basically within headbutting distance of you. And if that works out for them, it's going to be great for them. And Giga Impact already with a pause here pretty early on. They're going to have a moment here to kind of readjust and regroup here, but it will be definitely TPO getting the first point cap. There's still 2 remaining members of Giga Impact alive, so they're going to have to get out with their lives, hopefully, but they're already in a little bit of a sticky situation here as we're already back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Sloth left, who is just absolutely torn to bits by Olnor, who was that 3 or that was 4 because the KO came from the overrun there initially. But yeah, a very, very effective first fight there for the Malga.
And right now, I mean, you saw this mixing this TP really get them in that backline, cause a lot of damage there for Giga Impact. Now Fish, they're on the Symmetra as well, that be able to kind of use the TP for their own benefit here as well to get them going.
Okay, well, the cleanse from Mr. Jade puts Olnor in an awful spot there. Great Suzu as Alpin tries to hold this corner, but has to use that Whirlwind Blade to get out and away. Still in a 4 position, has to grab the mega or the mini health pack there, and it will be Giga Impact swiftly coming back in to take that point.
And again, you see TPO come right back in. They just go right back to pedal to the metal, Fletch.
Yeah, not stopping here. Both teams down 2 players. Fishnot dropped to the point, but Olnor makes quick work of them as well. Neither team has a Symmetra now as TPO takes the flip, but it's Olnor versus a Lucio and a Kiri, and I give that to the Malga just about every time.
Sloth able to get back there just in time to really force Olnor to fall back, but you could see Giga Impact actually go through the other choke point, considering they're already over there, and yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Olnor was not ready for it, thinking they were going to go back up through the upper part of the map, but no, they're just going to go straight to point here, but the TP is already out for TPO, and now out for Giga Impact.
Yeah, Lingen style getting that pick on their opposite number. This TPO squad right now looking immaculate, and another quick 4-piece, and it's just a Kiriko trying to get back into spawn, and right now TPO on top.
I mean, look, they're still holding on to all their ultimates here. Giga Impact, they're about to have all their ultimates other than Nathan, who is lagging behind a little bit, but should get it pretty quickly here as well. So, Fletch, you're really looking at a big, heavy ult fight coming up here. Probably this fight, to be fair.
Yeah, and I imagine cage fight comes down here very soon, but no, Sloth actually going to find the pummel down there on it to Alpin as Resurrect grabs that overclock, the sound barrier. Unfortunately for Lingen, not going to find the value that they were hoping for, as TPO gets bowled over by just the wall and the overclock.
The beat coming out there from TPO is a massive mistake, because now Sloth can use his Annihilation and be aggressive as they want. Nathan can also kind of combo that with them here, but you already see the TP from TPO, and now the Photon Barrier as well. Cage out as well, already 3 ultimates invested here.
Cage fight down, sound barrier invested by Nathan. Sundering Blade cuts down Resurrect, goes straight through shields and over health, so not worried all that much for Alpha, who continues to swing that blade effectively, chasing down this Ramatra. Ananas helping to clean that up. The blade too much right now for the side of Giga Impact, and Alpin cleans up Nathanitis, and this is going to be a tough one to come back from here for Giga Impact.
Let's see what's out here now from him as Resurrect does find one, but it's immediately going to be traded out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Alpin's just going nuts on this vendetta. We know just how strong this character is and what she can do, and we're seeing that on full display in these last couple of fights as TPO comes through huge the end here of Mecha Base.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just a really dominant showing there from TPO. Giga Impact, when you look at the composition they're playing, you would normally say, like, hey, this is a pretty sustainable composition. Ramatra with their 2 forms, be able to keep them alive a little bit longer. Symmetra going to be able to get themselves in and out of fights with TP, and you can always kind of look at a Sojourn player as one that can be on that flanking angle, be able to find a lot of value, but no, there's really no sustain for this Giga Impact team, as TPO, like I said, they want to run you down. They want to be in your face, and you're seeing Giga Impact does not have a really good response for that. Even the couple times Giga Impact tried to TP into TPO's backline, they basically just played right into their hands, because TPO, they're playing a very coordinated team composition right now where they're really not straying that far away from each other outside of Alpin, and it's working out for them greatly here.
All right, shot number 2 here on Musan. TPO taking a drum side, TPing into the back line, and overrun stomp is just colossal for Olnor. Continues to be an absolute force of nature on this Mauga. Finding another little bit of damage, no knockdowns there, but it'll be more than enough to put TPO in control here first.
Again, now, if you're Giga Impact, you kind of have to be making some swaps here. You cannot get ran down like that. That's your third or fourth time already this map that's happened. You know what to expect from TPO. TPO knows what they're going to do, and they know what you're going to do as well, which is really just stand there and take it. You have to, if you don't win this fight, really make some swaps here to try to shut this down.
Oh my goodness, and the Mauga overrun from the back line. Kiriko able to get that swift step away. Mr. Jade stays in the fight. Olnor does not have the healing there to survive in the middle of the enemy team, but neither does Sloth. Unfortunately, not able to quite stay up. Olnor cleans up to us. Mixon goes into the back line to try and help out as Olnor. Good lord, this guy is absolutely beasting right now.
Absolutely. And, I mean, Giga Impact, the only good thing about that fight for them was, hey, they got one pick. However, it was on to the Lucio there. So it's not necessarily the biggest pick in the world because you really can't play fast off that. However, because these fights have been going pretty quickly here, I mean, look at the ultimates right now. Olnor's going to have theirs at some point in this fight. Same thing with Resurrect. But you're not really going to see him this fight. This could be final fight territory here if Giga Impact does not win it.
Olnor needs some damage. That barrier blocking some as the cage fight comes down. Infinite ammo here for this Mauga. Sloth, those arms block a lot, but not everything, unfortunately. And now TPO finds themselves in a very good position at 80% here.
And I mean, right now, if you're TPO, you can kind of play up here. I would not be surprised you see him really just push these chokes, trying to make sure that Giga Impact has a really hard time getting back to point. You see Sloth, the only one on Giga Impact, with an ultimate ready to go here, but the Annihilation on its own is not going to win you the fight. It might get you a point flip, but it's not going to win you the fight.
Oh, Sundering Blade from Narnia there to take care of Fishnot. Unfortunately for the side of Giga Impact, they do find Smixon, but there's just nothing else to have here as Sloth pops the Annihilation out of desperation. Yeah, it's just too much damage and no healing to supplement it as a TPO comes in and absolutely dominates on Busan.
Yeah, getting their first map win of the season here. This looked like like you said, it was a domination there from them. It was an absolute stomp. Resurrect, getting the play of the game, might be the only good thing for Giga Impact in that first map for them. But right now, I mean, we knew what we were going to get out of TPO, especially after that first fight. Giga Impact knew as well, but I really want to see some changes from them. They desperately need to make something there because you can only, you can only run to the same brick wall time after time again and figure out that it's not working here. So definitely going to the second map, yeah, there's going to be a whole new set of bans, but it's going to be interesting to see which one they ban. Will it be the Mauga or the Vendetta? Because both of them in that first map were absolute nightmares, or it could just be the Sim, which both teams were playing.
For Giga Impact, it felt like they were playing a composition that wanted to be more mid-range, right? But they kept running straight into the face of TPO, who, like you said earlier, are just more than happy to swarm on to your team on the Mauga, Vendetta, Symmetra. All of those characters make their, money in the close range fight. It's just not all that effective to continue to do that because, like you said, TPO, they knew exactly what Giga Impact wanted. The whole map, it felt like, right? Every time they tried something cute, they tried to TP into the back line, TPO just turned around and was like, this is our game, and you're just playing it right now. So moving into map number 2, which of course is going to be Giga Impact's selection, they need to figure out maybe a new plan because they got a little bit predictable there on Busan, especially on that second submap where they never changed what they did, right? As the map continued, we saw Olnor holding on that drum essentially by himself. in the middle part of that map, while the rest of Giga Impact always went through that far side, and they were never ready, it felt like, for that Malga overrun through that window, which almost every time, with the exception of a couple of well-timed cleanses, never, were really prepared to deal with that, and always had at least one person knocked down. So they're going to need to not only become a little bit less predictable, but they need to find some way to predict where this Malga is going to come from if they're going to continue to play against it.
Well, there's one easy thing they could do to predict it, is just ban out the Malga here, but that still leaves Malga there for at least the rest of the series after it. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do when it comes to bans. But I think both me and you kind of talked about there is the fact that it seemed like Giga Impact really didn't want to make changes to their comp. Either they're really stuck on it, thinking that, okay, if we get the point, our comp's going to really start working. We're a little bit more of a bunker down kind of team. It looked like they were trying to set up to be. But again, when stuff was really not working, you want to see those swaps come out there. I really would love to see a tank swap. What I'd love to see is maybe some DPS swaps as well. I think the Symmetra for them really started to fall apart for them, or really never really worked for them outside of probably one fight all the way back on Mecha Base. So there's a lot that needs to happen there for them to really get themselves back into this series, and even just tie it up with this next map here. But for TPO, I mean, like I said, first map win of the season, maybe by far one of the most dominant map wins we've seen on stream here this season. They looked strong, and really they didn't look like they had any weaknesses there. Yeah, one or two people would die occasionally. They lost, I think, one fight on Mecha Base. But outside that, I mean, they played their play style, and they played it really well.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to break through for Giga Impact for sure. We're just gonna have to wait and see how these bans shake out to see what the strategy is going to be for map number 2. Where we're even going would be, nice to know, I suppose. That is the first bit of information that we're going to need. What map are we going to, right? Because if you don't want to play against that rush composition, which is not a necessity on Route 66 here, a lot of Busan is very rush heavy, especially where we saw on Mecha Base is very rush heavy, a little bit more flexible on the other two sub maps, but Route 66 is more leaning toward the poke / dive compositions that you can run, the Diva, the Winston, Doomfist, whatever you like. So it will shake up the gameplay a little bit, at least for Giga Impact, you would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely here. And you have to remember, Diva was banned out map 1 there, as you see, by TPO. Tracer was banned out map 1 by Giga Impact here. I feel like, Fletch, me and you have kind of in agreement here that Giga Impact, they have two really smart bans they could make here, but they also do have to understand, if they make those bans, this map, they're going to be there the rest of the series, more likely. So again, I'm looking at the Malga, but like you just said, maybe not the best map for Malga, unless you want to play a poke version of Malga, which, I mean, yeah, you could if you want to try. I think Vendetta would be the smarter ban here, or they could kind of mix it up and go to that support line and potentially get rid of something like a Kiriko. Yeah, they were playing it last map, but you saw the value that TPO was getting it from it as well.
Okay, yeah, they're going the direction you thought that they might. It's going to be a Vendetta ban here for Route 66 from Giga Impact, and I don't hate it at all. We were talking about it. Not the best rush map in the game, so Malga not going to be at his absolute strongest. Vendetta, however, is strong just about everywhere. If you know how to play around the corners with Vendetta, you are going to be a successful Vendetta player. So, a very good ban here for Giga Impact as we look towards TPO. They're not going to be able to ban a DPS. I think that they just ban some tank here, maybe the Ramatra, maybe another dive character if they are, hellbent against not playing the dive. It's actually just going to be Orisa here, and it felt like, this kind of feels like they don't want to deal with the Orisa and the poke, maybe, but they just want to keep playing the Malga, potentially?
Definitely potentially here. I mean, the Diva last map really allowed that Malga to find a lot of value. You could see this map, like you said. If they want to play Malga again, I would be surprised by it, but I don't expect to see it on this map. However, I mean, it might just be something where TPO just plays the composition they played last map until you see Giga Impact beat it. But there's a lot of other options at the tank line here still for TPO. Like we said, Malga's still there. You can go back to that Diva now that's available. You can play Sigma. You could hell even play a little bit of the Domina. We haven't seen that newest hero yet. Hell, we haven't even seen any of the newest heroes just yet so far. Granted, only been a map, but we haven't seen any of the new heroes. This could definitely be a map where you do potentially see one of them.
Yeah, I like the Domina, right? I think she's exceptionally strong at the moment. I think clearly the best of the 5 new heroes that have been added to the game last week. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see a Domina come out at some point. But it's going to be right up to these 2 teams. They didn't seem very interested in playing it last map. Last map, a little bit more close quarters, I will admit, and Domina kind of excels in that mid to long range fight. She is, the only, pokey characters besides, that Sigma and Orisa. She's, newer to the game, and we haven't seen a character like that in a very long time. So I think that if we're going to see it, we're going to see it on a map like this one, but it doesn't seem like either of these teams are all that interested. Olnor remaining on the Malga, Sloth on the Diva.
Well, yeah, again, Diva banned out map 1 there by TPO. Back this map, you do see Sloth immediately go over to Resurrect, though, at least teasing us with one of the newest heroes, Emre. One that I feel like a lot of people have been a little bit down on when it comes to how strong they are, but I mean, you never know. They could be really, really good. They're able to hit all their shots. Grenades really strong. You could pull out the pistol as well and get that nice little speed boost and jump boost that could really help them clean up some members on side of TPO. But TPO, this is, I think, a little bit more surprising that we are seeing the Malga come back out here. And it really feels like they're going to try to play this corner very, very strongly. But you look outside of that Malga, and you go look back over at Fish here on that Pharah, there's really nothing on TPO that could really shut down Fish on that Pharah outside of maybe Olnor or Anis here, if you want that to be the person you want to be looking up at the sky.
All right. Here we go. Map number 2, the selection of Giga Impact here. Route 66. Sloth in the front line, of course, trying to take all the space that they can, but having to bounce because that Malga a little bit too oppressive on the low ground. Looking for an opportunity to go in, and will follow up here on to the top of the gas station. Looking after this Lucio, trying to go in, will find the pick. It's 2 for 2 as Alpin has found a couple of picks themselves on the Resurrect, and Mr. Jade. Sloth goes back in here into the face of the Malga, the defense matrix, of course, eating a lot of that damage up, but just waiting for those respawns now because they know that they're closer.
And right now, Ananas has to use that to just keep themselves alive right there. Sloth can grab the large health pack, but you're already seeing Giga Impact play a little bit split up here. If TPO can take advantage of that, it could lead to a lot of good stuff. But like I said, Fish, no target on the other side to really deal with them, already finds Ananas.
Yeah, a great pick there. A significant amount of healing gone. And Olnor is feeling that effect. Self-destruct in from Sloth. Gonna get them right back into that mech, and a quick fight win here for the side of Giga Impact. The best they've looked so far.
Yeah, honestly, the best they've looked so far. That map 1 is definitely one they want to leave in the past here. But still, I think Fish right now for Giga Impact is going to be someone we really have to watch out for here, considering there's nothing on the other side to slow them down. But they have Barrage ready to go. Emre's ultimate ready to go here for Resurrection. So you can see a pretty big ult fight coming out here now for Giga Impact, as both Lucius already gone.
Yeah, and Resurrect popping that override protocol as well as the rocket barrage. Sloth a little bit low, but not too worried. They did find one pick there for the side of TPO, but those 2 DPS ultimates, just too much to overcome.
Again, I'm looking at TPO like I was looking at Giga Impact on that second point last map. They need to make some swaps here. This DPS line for Giga Impact really has no challenge to them. They can just kind of play how they want to play and allow Sloth to go up there and just take all the space here. TPO, though, coming up to all their ultimates here, so they're in a good spot to at least try to get some momentum back here, but you cannot allow what Sloth is doing here to basically to do just that.
That's just so free for Sloth, unfortunately for Smixon. Now chasing down this Lucio, who gets a little boop. Of course, many of these tanks, of course, not affected by that passive anymore, so the boop a little bit stronger against a lot of tanks, and Sloth does lose the mech, but won't be too much of a problem here for Giga Impact.
Recto finding some picks, and like I said, I feel like I've seen a lot of people talk about Emre as being one of the weaker heroes to come out of these new 5, but I think if they're in the right hands, they could just be as deadly as anyone else here. And Resurrect find the final 2 picks there. Alpin, though, making the swap over here to the Ashe, desperately needed here right now, but the bomb out from Sloth.
Here's Kitsune Rush, looking to try and find something for On and Us, but I mean, that Kitsune Rush comes and goes and no value gained other than pushing them out of the fight for a moment. Alpin now on the Ashe, looking to find some value into that Pharah, but with 11 HP, you're really not gonna find a lot. In another override protocol in from Resurrect, going to find 2 pigs, and Oldmore did find the fire kill there on it to the Pharah, but that's just not gonna be enough, man.
No, it's not, and right now, you look at TPO, they have 3 ultimates. Honest making the swap there as well, going over to the Juno now instead. I would not be surprised if after these 3 ultimates that TPO has ready to go, they also make swaps off it. I think Amalga, like we talked about, thought they would struggle a little bit on this map. Definitely is struggling here. Smixon on the sim. It's not working like it was last map. You definitely need to make some swaps here right now, but Giga Impact, they're keeping this momentum going here.
All right, here is the Photon Barrier in from the side of Giga Impact, but Resurrect with a quick burst. And you want to talk about quick burst, that is a lot of burst damage. The pistol, and then the rocket barrage in from Fishnot, who does end up going down. Probably, I'm not going to swap here, but it will be another quick and dirty fight for Giga Impact.
I mean, TPO, they used all their ultimates in that fight. The fact they're kind of sticking with this Malga, which has just been ran over time after time again on this map, is a little bit more surprising. Actually, no, there they go. Over to the Zarya instead, but is it a little bit too late as you already see Bomb and both support ultimates still online here for Giga Impact. They can play aggressively here, knowing that they have a lot of sustain on their side.
I mean, Mr. Jade putting a well-placed kunai between the eyes of Alpin. Fishnot now no pressure in the world, especially with that sound barrier down. No Ashe, no problem for Fishnot there, and they will take a very, very fast full capture here on Route 66. They picked this map for a reason.
They really did, and you could see it here. They wanted to play dive. Diva banned out last map. TPO did their research, made sure they got rid of that hero first. Now they have to deal with it the rest of the series, and you're seeing the difference. Sloth last map looked like a shell of what we're seeing this map from them. They're all over the place. They're finding a lot of value. TPO, we kind of saw it there a little bit on that second point. It seems like they struggle a little bit with potentially looking up. Since Sloth was able to get a couple kills just by standing on the roof, and TPO was just standing on the staircase. But, I mean, this is exactly what you want to see from TPO, especially after what last map was. Resurrect and Fish, they've been doing great. That support line has been doing great. And now, Fletch, it's almost as if the script has been reversed from that first map where Giga Impact did not know what they're doing. And now it looks like TPO doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, a complete comp swap here for TPO. This is going to be very, very interesting. I mean, Alpin going over to the Echo to try and challenge Fishnot. I mean, this is really playing into the hands of Giga Impact. They know not to shoot Zarya bubbles, because if you don't shoot Zarya bubbles, Zarya's not an issue, right? It's something that is seen in comp. You know, you swap to the Zarya to try and counter the Diva, because people shoot Zarya bubbles in rank. Not so much when you are completely and totally in a line with each other. Looking to get this one rolling, a nice little boop off of the high ground there. TP on it to the top of Big Earls, but Alpin immediately dispatched by the person they are meant to take care of.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be interesting to see how long Smixon sticks on this sim, because even as someone who plays a lot of sim in his sim main, this is not the best map, this is not the best side for sim either, especially with its composition.
I mean, Olnor looking very healthy in terms of charge. Ooh, not quite able to take down Nathanitis, but Alpin with those sticky grenades going to do just fine in that regard. And Sloth losing that mech. So, you know what, Dex, I am man enough to accept when I'm wrong, because Olnor is just farming charge right now.
Oh, absolutely. And Smix is making me eat my words as well on the sim. The TPs there were vital in that fight. Everything got going because of those TPs, just really using them, I think, mostly as a fake. You saw a lot of members for Giga Impact, once they saw the TP come out, really just peel back for it immediately, expecting to see everyone from TPO there. No, it was a bait, and they took it there. Now TPO able to get going here. Gonna have both their support ultimates ready to go towards the end of this fight, but look at Resurrect here. Already has that override online here, and they like to use that pretty early. And yeah, the moment they get it, it's out.
Here we go, override protocol from Resurrect, looking for the damage. Lingen does drop that immortality field, keeping them healthy for a little bit longer, so they're going to be able to keep this fight rolling. Smixon, though, will be tracked down. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Smixon for Resurrect need to stay on the point, though. They're not all that far from capture here. Olnor able to drop Lathanitis on the objective. Sloth tries to get into stall for some more time, but too little, too late for Giga Impact as TPO rolls straight into B.
Feels like TPO really just needed that last round to kind of go like it did here, because now they look like almost back to how they were playing back on map 1. They're dominant, everything's working out for them. Again, I know I criticized the sim from Smixon, but it's really working out for them here and now. But you look over at Giga Impact, they're gonna have Bomb, they're gonna have Barrage here. Yeah, TPO has a lot of their ultimates. Oh, this is exactly who you need to get going here. It's Alpin getting rid of Resurrect early on.
Yeah, that Emre already dead here, so it's going to be tough to fight for the side of Giga Impact as Alpin finds a second pick in this fight well before it even begun, but it's now a 2-2 trade. And I mean, those spawns are already coming back for Giga Impact while TPO is still down 2 players. They're going to have to play incredibly safe here in this fight, especially as Olnor's charge is very, very low at this point. Gonna throw that bubble out, but that means no bubble for Olnor themselves. And it will be Giga Impact coming through with some clutch late picks to come back into this fight.
Yeah, and all that fight costed Giga Impact there was the Kitsune Rush. GMTPO does have a lot of stuff there. They use the rally to cap the first point, but you look at what they have. They have Photon Barrier, they have their grab, but you know that Olnor is waiting for Sloth to get demech'd here, or waiting for an opportunity, or waiting for a moment where Sloth is nowhere near them to use that grab, because the worst thing that can happen right now for TPO is a grab get eaten here.
There's the TP. Rocket Barrage claims Lingen. Will be a trade. 2-for-1 now as a duplicate comes in for Alpin, who's looking to build a self-destruct here. Getting very close to that ultimate. Will drop it here very, very soon here. Is the sound barrier Alpin going to use the self-destruct? Get back into mech. Sloth, though, tracking down Ananas will be brutal for the side of TPO. Now the high ground control so pivotal for the side of Giga Impact. They're very, very comfortable now that they can control the high ground effectively.
And now Alpin not going to be able to escape here as well. Giga Impact did a really good job just avoiding all 3 of those ultimates that came out there from TPO. And only investing 2 of their own. I mean, they still have Bomb, they still have their own, another override protocol coming out here now from Resurrect. I mean, again, Giga Impact, they've really bounced back from last map. TPO, they just need to get something going here. 1 fight win is really all they need to guarantee themselves at this point, but you still look at the ultimate on the other side here, and oh, you cannot lose Smixon that early.
Yeah, you could see that one coming from a mile away as soon as that rocket landed from Fish and not Sloth, of course, has the self-destruct ready to go should they so need it. Get back into mech. Not going to be too aggressive with it. You don't tend to want to be, as Alpin is now the target, and Sloth will be able to track them down. And Ananas caught on an island in a 20-player kill streak for this Diva after a swift end to that first point. I mean, Sloth is right back in that comfort zone.
25 players now
25,
for them. I mean,
wow.
they've been having themselves a map here. Fletch, and honestly, I'm looking over at TPO here. Okay, again, you made the swaps last round. I think yeah, there's only a minute left. It might be time for you to make some more swaps here to see if you can get anything to kind of break through the composition and just the defense of Giga Impact. And look, Giga Impact back up to 3 ultimates. TPO, they're gonna have the Admix ready to go here in this fight, but how worth it is it actually gonna be? What value are they gonna get from it here, especially as they're playing the high ground and not the cart?
45 seconds now. Alpin's grenades will be feasted upon, and talk about feasting. Sloth able to just immediately drop Smixon. Alpin does duplicate the Pharah, gets a couple of picks, but I mean this Zarya without those bubbles, even though Sloth did not get, got demech there, not going to be too much of an issue. Alpin though, alone, desperate. 30 HP, now 0. Nothing going right here for TPO. It's going to be desperation, especially with an override protocol here from Resurrect. Those bubbles are not going to amount to much for Olnor, and it will be a swift end to this map for Giga Impact. Dominance on Route 66.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the tale of 2 maps here. Each team has had a map where they've looked really good, and each team has had a map where they looked, well, not so good here. I mean, Giga Impact really bouncing back from all the struggles they had back on Busan. They bring us to Route 66, ban out the Vendetta, and everything just goes their way. Alpin getting play of the game, but at the end of the day, that might be the best thing you can say for TPO this map. They were very single-handedly getting dipped this map in a lot of situations. They looked a little lost. Their composition really started to fall off there. And in comparison, Giga Impact, they had that same thing on the first map where their composition looked awful. And then on the second map, everything works out for them. They get the Diva back, and look at how much different that team played.
Yeah, I mean, it was a completely different team there on map number 2 for Giga Impact. But for now, we will take a break at a parity. When we come back, it will be TPO's map selection. They'll get the first ban. They've got a few minutes to strategize over where they want to go, what they want to do. So stick around. We will be right back in this Razor Close series.
If you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
All right, welcome back, everybody. All right, now we are at parity 1-1 after 2 maps, and you know, you called it the tale of 2 maps. Very, very apt description. TPO on Busan looked unbeatable. Different story on Route 66 for Giga Impact. They got back access to their diva for Sloth, and they looked like a completely different team. TPO could not find a way to break through it for the whole map at the very least. So now it is up to TPO to take us where they would like to go.
Honestly, just avoid any dive maps. That's what I would say here. Atlas. Ooh. I like it. Haven't been to Atlas that much, I think, in any league or any form of play that I've casted here. So I will gladly take an Atlas map.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly popular, which could be a great thing for TPO, right? It's always a nice to have like a trump card to play, right? Where, you know, you struggle a little bit on a certain map, you can come out and say, hey, we know that you probably haven't been practicing this map, so we're going to take it here because we have, right? And that's always a great thing to have, right? Especially if your map type that you have this kind of map on hasn't already been played, which, you know, Flashpoint is never the first point, the first map type that people want to go to. So as we get into our bans, it's going to be Ramatra out here for TPO, which admittedly is what we saw Sloth play on that first map where they were more rushy on Busan. Giga impacted with Sloth on that Ramatra. But I imagine Diva going to be way more comfortable for GI, even on a very close quarter map like Atlas.
Oh, yeah, I would think the Diva would definitely work here, especially on the first point. Dive is still very strong. You still see Dive played a lot on this map. Giga Impact, what do they focus on here? Because you could definitely probably make a guess that the Ramatra ban, while it's a good ban, in a sense, it might also just be a protection ban for the Malga here this time around now for TPO here. But Giga Impact, I could see him going after the support line here. Lucio might be a good idea. No. Yeah, the Sim. Honestly, you know what? Forgot about how impactful that Sim was, map number 1 there for TPO. Without the TPs in the backline, I feel like TPO is going to kind of struggle to really get that in-your-face, kind of run-you-down kind of play style that we were seeing from them there. So the Sim, especially on this map, I think is a great ban for them.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard to match tempo without that Symmetra. Goodness, excuse me. That's exactly what you were talking about, right? That TP getting to your face. It's the tempo of the game for the side of TPO. They've been using it for their engages in both of those first two maps to varying degrees of success, right? It wasn't exactly strong on Route 66, which we didn't really expect it to be. But had they gotten access to it on Atlas, it would have been, right? So it is a great ban here from Giga Impact to slow down the assault here of the side of TPO, who is actually going to go ahead and swap up their lineup. Ulnor moving to DPS with Smixon going over to the tank. So without that Symmetra, Smixon gonna play tank instead.
Yeah, again, TPO is not a joke. This is a team full of tank players. So I'm not surprised we haven't seen this yet, and I would probably take a guess this is a normal thing for them, where they just kind of rotate players around throughout their season already here. So Smixon, who we've normally seen be the Symmetra for TPO, gonna go over to the tank. Ulnor, like you said, has been the tank going over to that DPS line. Gonna be really interesting to see, do we get a hit scan from TPO, because we really haven't seen that from them, and we saw last map what happened when they really struggled without a hit scan.
Yeah, going to be very, very interesting here. I mean, more leaning toward the play style of that first map of Busan here on Atlas. Way closer quarters than Route 66 ever could be. I'm interested, right? I mean, we're seeing this swap up. I'm curious what Smixon will roll out on. We haven't seen anything but Ulnor on that tank role. So I'm curious, do we see... I can imagine we're not going to see Malga, because Ulnor looked exceptional on the Malga on map number 1. I wonder if Smixon is going to try and match the dive tanks, you know, potentially mirror the Diva, or like a Winston or something similar. Even Doomfist could be cute here, especially early on in this map, where there's so many like tight hallways on this first point, where Doomfist could be very strong. So it's just a big question mark over Smixon. I mean, we do see them, you know, with that portrait of the Junker Queen, which could be fun too, if you so desire to play that fast and in-your-face composition, where, you know, the Kiri Lucio will help out with the speed, but Junker Queen with some speed of her own.
Yeah, I mean, the Drone Queen would be very fun here. I've always said it in the past, especially on the other two Flashpoint maps. The Junk Queen kind of goes hand in hand with those maps, with playstyle and how the heroes kind of designed. But I could see this more being because, hey, the Ramatra's banned out. We might be seeing Smixon come in to play the Zarya, which, yeah, we did see Ulnor play on last map a little bit, but starting off, maybe Smixon is a little bit of a better Zarya here. And you have to remember, Vendetta back in the hero pool now for both teams, so you could see that Vendetta Zarya combo come out there from TPO very early on, as Slaw says, I'm not allowed to play Rhine. So his team must have shot that down pretty quickly there. But again, this could be the Zarya coming out here from Smixon. I would not be surprised. Or not. Okay, Malga for them instead. I guess Smixon just wanted his hands on the Samoan this time around.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I can't be angry about it. It's, you know, a team full of tank players, right? Everybody's gonna want their turn on the controller, you know. As we get a quick and early pause here for the side of TP, or rather Giga Impact. Not much changing on the other side, though.
Ulnor, though, came out showing us that May, that's pretty interesting on this map, but I feel like May, just in Flashpoint, kind of works very well, but can get shut down pretty quickly as well, especially what we were seeing there from Giga Impact. Hopefully, whatever the problem is with Giga Impact, it's not too much of a big problem. Hopefully, it's just like maybe a headset died or a mouse died, that they'll just be able to fix that very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to try and figure that out soon. I mean, there's not much we can do from the other side of our cameras, but hopefully GI will be able to figure it out. But as for what we saw, I mean, we kind of expected Sloth to stay on the Diva. I mean, it looked like a very, very similar composition to what we saw in Brute 66. I didn't quite get a look at what Fish was playing. I think it looked like the Echo. Yeah, okay. So Fish on the Echo here. The only difference for Giga Impact, as Farah is kind of bad when you go indoors.
Yeah.
But we will have to see how that Echo Swap is going to work for Giga Impact as we head into this first objective, as Sloth tracks down Alpin, who gets access back to that Vendetta just to be shut down before the point can even unlock, and Resurrect with the pistol going to clean up the Mauga as Giga Impact comes through huge here in the first fight.
Yeah, and it just seemed like TPO tried to play a little bit of split up right there, but it really did not work out. A little bit of a miscommunication, because we talked about how good they looked that first map, and they looked really good because they were playing essentially as a giant group. Granted, no Symmetra this time around to really be able to maneuver some players around a little bit quicker. But you still have to find ways to work together here, as you already see Sloth and Resurrect had 50% to their ultimates here. Honor, though, 50% to a Blizzard. However, that's not the biggest concern for Giga Impact. As, hey, point flip free.
Yeah, point flip. So this is deny about, 20-30% from this capture. Sloth is going to lose mech, which is almost certainly going to guarantee even more. So they get a good surprise flip as Ananas able to take down that pilot Diva. And it will be TPO coming through huge with that surprise, and they're able to even take the lead here.
If they can find this Emre kill, yep, they're going to be able to do that there. A good stagger right there for TPO. Going to slow down and Giga Impact just a little bit. Probably almost put this in the final fight territory here. And because of how early a lot of members died there for Giga Impact, you're not going to have those ultimates that I was talking about. Honor, though, might be able to have Blizzard, which you could really use as a zoning tool. You could really use it on point to try to win this point very, very quickly here. But I like what we're seeing from TPO. Pushing up a little bit, watching the side angles now, as I think someone has to go help Alpin since everyone else seemed to be on the other side of the point.
And Fish, with those sticky nades, going to nullify that Blizzard, which was online. You see the override protocol, but Alpin extremely, extremely low. Sloth finds a couple of picks, and it's Smixon versus Sloth. And that defense matrix a little bit too much for Smixon to deal.
And I mean, if you're TPO about in that fight, you're not really concerned about it. You got rid of the override protocol. Yeah, Sloth, Nathan, and Jade Fish not that far away from the ultimates here, but you have ultimates ready to go. That Blizzard and now the Southern Blade ready to go here for TPO, but you lose your support line.
Yeah,
oh.
that's absolutely brutal. Self-destruct to get back in. Olnor knows that this one is over. Smixon realizes that this kind of hinges everything on him, and yeah, just torn to shreds in a 1 versus 5. So Giga Impact able to come through, get the touch late in the point, and will be able to capture the first flashpoint.
And again, TPO looked like they finally figured something out. Then Giga Impact came right back in and shut it down pretty quickly. Beat now ready for TPO wall. You're not that far away from a duplicate and a Kitsune here. So you can see Giga Impact play very fast. And Olnor, again, third straight life. They've had this Blizzard, but the first one's to die.
And we see now the aggression coming in from Giga Impact. They want to push their advantage. The cage fight comes down to catch out Nathanitis and Resurrect. So 2 players for 1 here for the side of Giga Impact. Sloth good for 1, but it will be Alpin tracking down these late picks, trying to catch this Kiriko out, but Mr. Jade making it exceptionally difficult, finally tracked down, and it will be TPO taking this first flip.
I mean, I was going to say that first point cap took a while there. I thought Giga Impact had already capped it, but now look at TPO here. Outside that cage fight, they have all 4 ultimates ready to go here, but Giga Impact will have all 5. The Blizzard finally out. Pair that with the beat.
Yeah, the Sloth will lose out on that mech. We will see the override protocol in from Resurrect, a sound barrier from Nathanitis. Alpin has the Sundering Blade should they so choose to drop that ultimate, but it doesn't seem like they want to. doesn't necessarily need it with Smixon rolling through on the Malga, but oh, it's Fish coming through with the dupe onto the Malga, coming through huge for Giga Impact, needing to take care of this Lucio. Will be able to track them down eventually. Just as May left Olnor being forced away, and it will be Giga Impact, but Olnor finds 2 picks late, so late. Alpha needs to throw up that block, try and keep themselves alive. Still has the Sundering Blade, should they so need. Alpha gonna go in onto this M right now, who is just barely able to survive it there, as is Alpin, and Mr. Jade will help Alpin to take care of that, or rather Ananas will help Alpin take care of that. But with just Alpin and Olnor left alive on the side of TPO, Giga Impact will finally grab their first flip here on this objective.
Pretty costly fight there for TPO, as now you see Olnor getting off the May after, I thought, doing a pretty solid job on it, going over to the cast instead. But Alpin still has a Sundering Blade. You look over the other side, though, Nathanitis not that far away now from yet another beat. Sloth holding on to the remaking tool there with the bomb. I mean, you really need Olnor here to be able to land these shots onto Fish in the sky. Same thing with Resurrect when they pop that override protocol, because those 2 DPS players here for Giga Impact have been doing so much to allow Sloth to find a lot of value here.
Olnor kind of caught out in no man's land, gonna have to use that roll to get away. Flash fan. Sloth, you can imagine, has had to deal with many a Cassidy try and flash fan them. Not gonna let that happen now as they take down a second as well. Alpin trying to find these picks, these kills, not going to come through, and at 90% ear decks, it's almost untouchable now.
Yeah, it seemed like Ling Yana said, just said, yeah, you know, we're not going to go for it. And then Olnor kept walking up, but they just decided they're very late, said, yeah, we're just going to have to give it over to them. And what looked like a very promising point for TPO fell apart. I mean, remember, they were up 9-0 on that point. It looked like they were finally going to be able to get back into not only this map, but into the series. But you saw Sloth come in there and just find so much value. Resurrect, Fish still doing everything they can. And I believe Mr. Jade and Nathan built up 2 ultimates just that last point alone.
All right, here we go. Olnor caught on a no man's land, has to use the roll to get away once again. A nice little heady there on the Fish, going to claim the life of the Echo. Alpin spinning in it, trying to cut somebody else down, still holding on to this Sundering Blade. Will not need to rip it here. Finds 3 picks with the help of the cage fight there from Smixon. Only 1 ultimate invested, getting them control of this point.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need to do here now if you're TPO. 1 ultimate in every fight, unless you really need to use a second one there, but you look at Giga Impact. They're about to have all 5 of their ultimates here. They can play very quickly, and you have to watch out for Sloth. They seem to really communicate their targets very well, because it seems like, without a doubt, every fight they at least get their 1.
All right, well, here is the duplicate. Mr. Jade finds 2 out of nowhere. Nathan does come through with a pick of their own, and that'll just be, wow, maybe the fastest team kill I've ever seen.
Yeah, without being a simultaneously bomb blowing up from
Yeah,
a Diva
yeah,
or
yeah.
something else. Yeah, that was a pretty fast team kill there, and it only came at the cost of a single ultimate. The duplicate from Fish was all they needed there. The DPS, or the support line. Yeah, technically. But, I mean, 4 kills there coming out from that support line. Mr. Jade finding 2 early on. Again, the gear can be dangerous as the beat comes out here. 2 ultimates out there from TPO right now. Not going to be able to find anything there with the blade.
Yeah, Sundering Blade goes awry. Sloth able to take care of Olnor. Gonna take the lead here in this fight. And the override protocol actually invested. I'm not really sure it was necessary with how that fight was going. So they invested 3 ultimates into that fight.
Well, you look at that, what the percentages, you look at the map score. You're really now forcing TPO to come back in with their own ultimates. They got rid of Beat. Bomb's still the only thing left here, but it's been hard to get Sloth out of the mech here for TPO. Deadeye from Olnor could just be canceled out almost immediately, because once they pop that, they're sitting ducks. Honest, this Kitsune Rush really has to be a fight-winning tool for you, and someone needs to touch the point.
Will be touched there by TPO. Ananas going in, but no cleanse to help them out. Alpin finds 1, but that's at the cost of 2 of their own. Fish not looking to keep this one rolling with some more picks, but will go down as Alpin finds a second. Sloth more than happy to keep it going, and I mean, another 20-player kill streak for this Diva. And I mean, TPO does get the flip in the middle of the fight, but it's too little, too late for a tank player only. And I mean, there will be a late touch in here as this Diva continues to steamroll over players. A 3-player kill streak is ridiculous for the side of Giga Impact. That's almost unheard of.
It's insane. I want to see the stat line. Really, I want to see the stat line if we possibly could, because that was just insane from them. Sloth has been playing just out of their mind ever since that first map, where it just seemed like they were lost, really. At Giga Impact, their entire team turned it around from map 1, and while TPO, I think, made the right moves this map to at least show, like, hey, this can still be a very competitive series, you're still seeing them struggle in these mid fights. The only way they're winning fights now is if they win them within the first couple seconds. You can go back to Busan. A lot of their team fight victories were not drawn out fights. They were go in, TP to the backline, fights over in 5 seconds. You're not seeing that anymore from TPO. You're seeing slow fights where it seems like their really aggressive playstyle, even with the tank swap happening there on that map, is not working out for them, and slowing down might be something that really this team is not comfortable doing.
And I mean, that's kind of a problem with Malga as a whole, right? If you don't have that cardiac overdrive, he's kind of exploitable, right? You know, you do get that overhealth when you hit criticals, and you can hit a lot of criticals, but that overhealth taps out at a certain point, right? You can only have so much, and as soon as your cardiac overdrive goes away, you know, that's a lot of your sustain out of the fight. And it's something that I think that the side of Giga Impact is taking well into account. You know, cardiac overdrive can't get a significant amount of healing if those double chain guns are running straight into a defense matrix, right? I mean, when the defense matrix is straight in the face of the Malga, it's incredibly difficult to get value out of the Malga. And I mean, it's kind of a problem, right? Because they can't ban the Diva anymore. And Sloth has just looked like an absolute inhuman on the Diva. Just unstoppable right now. A 25-player kill streak on Route 66 that we saw. A 30-player kill streak there by the end of Atlas. I mean, it was a good ban to start the series out to try and take a lead, but now this Giga Impact squad, they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about there for Giga Impact actually going on to that second map. Do they ban the Vendetta? Do they ban the Malga, knowing that they have to deal with them the rest of the series based off just what we saw that first map? Well, that really hasn't been in effect there. It really goes back to, like you said, the Diva being banned down map 1 by TPO has really come back to bite them throughout the rest of this series, because Sloth, they've been doing incredibly these last 2 maps, but at the same time, that DPS line as well. I mean, you have really seen Resurrect, and I really want to try to remember, I'm forgetting the other person's name. Fish. Resurrect and Fish, they have been doing everything there. And yeah, Slaw's probably getting a lot more credit, or a lot of credit for this, compared to what that DPS line is doing. But I mean, the Emre, me and you talked about before the series, we didn't expect to see the Emre. If anything, it was going to probably be the Domino or maybe the Cat tonight. But the Emre for them has been incredible. And then you go over to Fish, who played the Pharah back on Route 66, didn't really get contested, had an incredible map, played the Echo last map, got contested a little bit, but still had themselves a really, really good map. I mean, everyone right now for Giga Impact is firing on all cylinders, and we're leaving out the support line, but they are doing an incredible job as well.
I mean, listen, the best support line is the one you don't talk about, right? It just means they're not dying. And they had a couple of great moments there on Atlas as well, right? I mean, Mr. Jade killed 3 players in one of those fights. I mean, they're not dying. They're finding picks when they're needed. You know, it's easy to gloss over the, what's the word? The impact that a support line has, because they don't often show up in the kill feed, and the kill feed is the easiest way to see when a team is doing well, right? And you know, a good support who's not appearing in the kill feed means that, you know, maybe they're not getting the picks, but they're not showing up on the right side of that kill feed either. So Yeah, Giga Impact's support line has been doing exceptional work throughout this series. The DPS line is incredible, and the diva from Sloth has been unstoppable. So we're gonna have to see something huge from TPO as we head to map number 4, Runasapi.
Yeah, absolutely. TPO is getting to really step up. Just one last thing on the support line there for Giga Impact. Like you said, the best support lines wanting to talk about, I always kind of say, hey, there's only 2 reasons we would ever talk about a support line. Is it because they're the reason their team's struggling, or they're the reason their team is winning? That's really some of the only reasons we talk about support players a lot of times. But you saw the impact that Giga Impact support line had last map, especially going into a map like Runasapi. Long sight lines, a lot of close corner opportunities. The supports really do play a big factor in this map, no matter what support line it is. Iari could show up here, Bap could show up here, Brig, Juno, Lucio, Kiri, still very good options here. Zenyatta, a little bit of an off-ball one, but you could see it with the right composition. But now, this is TPO's last map pick of the series. They're trying to bring us to a map that really plays into their play style here. Now that you have essentially your full lineup back at your disposal for them, you have the Sim, you have the Vendetta, the Malga still maybe a question mark here, hasn't been banned yet by Giga Impact. Does TPO, though, keep up the thing here and maybe protecting the Malga here?
I mean, it seems like that's been their desire the whole series thus far. I don't know if that is the best. I don't think Malga is all that great here on Runasapi, in all honesty. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think pokey versus, you know, divey compositions are going to be your strongest suit on this map in general, but it's actually going to be the Emre coming in for the side of TPO. I mean, that character has been an absolute menace in the hands of Resurrect on the side of Giga Impact, so not all that surprising to see that ban come through. But now Giga Impact are going to have their pick of the litter. I don't think they're going to ban a support because both teams have been relying on that Kiri Lucio backline. So now you look toward the tanks, and my 2 options are going to be either Malga, which they played the whole series, or Zarya, which has been the choice of TPO to counter the Diva, which has had varying degrees of success for the side of TPO. So it's actually going to be the Zarya coming in for Giga Impact's ban.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you ban out the Malga here if you're Giga Impact, just because you've been able to beat the Malga time after time again here. The Zarya might be the only one that gives you a little bit of problems, so good ban coming out here from them. And if you want to talk about the strong compositions, Zarya Vendetta, still very strong, but now, like I said, everyone is back now for TPO. When you go back to that map 1, you have the Sim, you have the Vendetta, you still have the Malga here, so you can still play that very in-your-face composition. And you do see that swap come back out there as Olnor going back over to the tank and Smixon going back over to the DPS line. We might honestly be looking at the 2 heroes that are going to be playing this map anyway.
Yeah, I struggle to believe that we don't, right? I mean, Smixon showed a very high propensity to want to play that Symmetra in the first 2 maps, so I can imagine Smixon going to remain that Sim player, you know, talking about Sim jail, trying to turn these rush compositions into like a pseudo dive with the help of that teleporter. Olnor, of course, we saw dominate on the Malga on map number 1. But as for the rest of the lineup, I think Kiri Lucio is going to be the pick for both sides. But the Vendetta for Alpin has looked like the best option for the side of TPO. I can't imagine that changes. On the other side, though, without the Emre, I think Resurrect is going to be the only real question mark here for the side of Giga Impact. What does Resurrect want to come out on in that hit scan role? Going to be kind of an important question to answer for them.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, do we see him go back over something like the Sojourn, which I think we saw a little bit map 1 for them, but again, map 1 for Giga Impact was A map, like I said,
Bad.
you kind of you kind of want to forget. You don't want to remember anything about it, and they've done a really good job of kind of forgetting map 1 ever really happened here. So yeah, the Surge I thought was going to be the option for them through and through. Fish, though, back over to the Pharah. Again, because you have that swap for Olnor and Smixen going back over to their original spots on the DPS line and the tank, there's now no real hit scan again for TPO. So you're looking at Olnor, you're looking at maybe Alpin or Honest on the Juno now to potentially
Imagine.
pressure out Fish here. It's going to be really interesting to see if that's the case. Not just a speed ring out for them, it looks like. It's going to be sticking with the Juno, which, I mean, I like Juno on this map. I feel like Orbital Ray actually finds a lot of value because a lot of the push lines on this map are really just straight. Not a lot of turns you have to deal with, and Orbital Ray will just be able to find a lot of healing and damage value for TPO this map if it gets used.
Okay, well, it wasn't going to happen this fight, but Resurrect has already found 2 picks. So no Emre, no problem. Master Chief gets put into the vault for the moment, and we immediately get Resurrect. I mean, there's just a little else to say that Resurrect just completely took over that fight.
I mean, they found the first pick, they found the second pick, they found the last pick right there. Alpin, only person to actually get out with their life here, still trying to provide a little bit of slowdown to get impact here, but they can't overstep their boundaries because a lot of the damage now from TPO is going to come from both Olnor and Alpin. Yeah, Smixen, once they get that beam up to level 3, will be able to do a lot, but you're really banking a lot now on this Malga and this Vendetta to do a lot for your team.
Well, there's Malga overrun through the high ground of this midpoint. Rocket's going to try and find some kind of value, but not much coming through for Fishnot just yet. Ananas with those torpedoes, good for the pick onto Nathan. Sloth does take down Smixen in that Pilot Diva form, but this will be the first fight win here for TPO on this map.
And one you desperately needed. You cannot start to get snowballed on this map. It's a very hard map to come back from. Granted, I feel like this is the map, maybe when it comes to push maps, that I've seen a lot of teams come back down from being 100 meters to 0, but at the same time, it's just hard to do that because a lot of consistency needs to be the name of the game, and so far, outside of the first map, TPO has not had that consistency. Resurrect, though, overclock ready to go here. They've at least been good for one every fight. The overclock, though, might make it a little bit more this time.
And I mean, this pick on it, well, it would have been big to get that pick on it to the Juno. Will not come through, but there is a trade Sloth taking down Smixen. And Resurrect now popping that overclock. Good for Lingen. A second on it to Alpin. Olnor does find that Sojourn out of position to take them down as they find a couple picks here. Now, the defense matrix, of course, has been a thorn in the side of Olnor all night long. Once again, they're stopping Olnor from taking over.
And without your tank here for TPO, I don't necessarily think you can test the forward spawn or the checkpoint here. Really, I think you'd almost just be walking into certain death. Sloth has bomb ready to go here, so they have the remaking tool. Jay not that far away from their Kitsune Rush. Nathan kind of lagging behind when it comes to beef. We look over at TPO. They're about to have 4 really good ultimates here. There's the forward spawns now online for Giga Impact. And oh my goodness, Resurrect.
You can't lose 2 players there before the fight even really begins. That's absolutely brutal. Olnor is good for Mr. Jade, but I mean, that's just it. There's nothing else that they can do, not even a chance to use any of those powerful ultimates as Giga Impact moves into the second half of their the map.
Nathan finding 2 right there as well to end that fight is big for them. Again, TPO coming up with all 5 of their ultimates. Giga Impact, I mean, they didn't use anything last fight. And like you said, TPO, they cannot make that mistake of losing 2 people, especially your DPS line, before the fight even really breaks out. And now Olnor just charging straight in with the beat to kind of give them some support.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be what they need here as Ananas with the torpedo. Good for the pick onto Resurrect. Olnor turns around, knows exactly where Fishnot is at. Going to take it down that Echo. And it will be TPO coming through, and that's exactly what you needed there. Dex was just one ultimate. You get it back through, you take away the close spawns.
Yeah, you need that badly. You really need that badly. Look at the tie bank here. About half the map left to go here. You still have 4 ultimates here, but you're walking in now to a Kitsune Rush from the other side, but the Photon Bear out from TPO.
Yeah, and Alpin good for 2. The Kitsune Rush not amounting to much as Alpin has claimed a hat trick in this fight. Now 4 for Alpin. Sloth goes down. Do they give Alpin the ace? They do give Alpin the ace. 5 final blows in one fight for the vendetta of TPO.
1-for-1 ult trade there as well. Again, another big fight for TPO, just smartly using an ult. You can cage early on here, but it's actually gonna be Nathan beating here just to get the team in, and Sloth gonna be able to put on.
And I mean, Sundering Blade comes through, but the big thing here is that they denied close spawns for the moment. Self-destruct gonna come through, gonna try and take care of Resurrect. Olnor able to slam Sloth out of this fight before that remake can come through, as Alpin has finally entered the fray.
Seeing them go back to their map 1 form, being almost essentially a lobby admin at the moment on this vendetta. I mean, we know the vendetta is strong, but they're still making it look like the vendetta is broken to all hell here right now, Fletch. But honest, Orbital Raid ready to go for them. Resurrecto Overclock for them online. Again, they found 2 last time to use it. The duplicate though for Fish, gonna be over to the Malga.
And here is the Orbital Ray from Ananas to try and keep that one going. There's the OC headshot. 2 kills for Resurrect here, and Sloth coming in for 2 of their own, helping out with that pick onto Alpin. It's just the Malga left, and they can't quite get to that 93-meter lead there for TPO, as Giga Impact will bring it back around town.
But they did cut into it a little bit, and everyone does get the forward spawn, so you could really take a quick fight here now if you're TPO. And again, look at the ultimates here, really nothing online.
Oh my god!
Resurrect!
Does end up going down, but Smixon out of the way is a large answer to the D.Va gone in this early fight. And now Ananas is dead, having swapped over to that Kiriko. Already out of the fight. Lincoln not going to be able to get that sound barrier off, as Fish also swapped back to the Pharah, and immediately making an impact on the character here. As Sloth takes down the final piece of the puzzle, will be Giga Impact going back toward their barrier.
And I mean, Fish back over on this Pharah. Again, there's really no one on the other side that can shut them down. So once they get up in the sky, I mean, they're going to have a lot of free reign to do whatever they want here. These rockets could be absolutely scary, but they just kind of have to watch out for, well, Olnor, because that's the only person who can really contest them.
Yeah, the only hit scan on the side of TPO. Mr. Jade, very, very low, as Alpin and Lingen both coming through huge for the side of TPO. We'll lose 1 player there in Ananas, but they will be able to take back control of the bot.
Yeah, but right now, again, you have this lead, 2.5 minutes left to go. You just want to kind of win a fight, take some space, maybe back off. You're okay losing a fight here, but you look over at TPO. 4 ultimates about to be online for them, 4 ultimates about to be online for Giga Impact. Resurrect already built up to another overclock, ready to go this fight potentially, but they need to get out alive. However, Alpin, a player you desperately need to step up, finds one.
Yeah, a lot of damage being put in by Olnor, who drops the cage fight on top of the D.Va. Realizes that this fight is over here, just trying to deny as much time on the bot as possible. And beautiful cage fight there from Olnor puts Giga Impact out and TPO back into plus territory.
But again, look at it. The beats were both used very recently for both teams. You look outside, that Giga Impact could have Katsuni, they have Bomb, they have Barrage, they have Overclock. You're now really banking on this Photon Barrier and the Sundering Blade from TPO to do a lot of damage for you here. And if you're Giga Impact, you know they're looking for it, and here it comes out.
Not going to find the pick that they were looking for, but Olnor will, taking down that Sojourn. Sloth actually not going to invest. The self-destruct could have gotten back into mech there, but this will allow TPO to break through past that close spawn checkpoint and get very, very close to taking the lead.
It's gonna be it's gonna be like right down to the inches here for Giga Impact to get back. But look at what they have. They have Bomb, they have Barrage, they have Overclock. They have the tools to get back, at least force TPO back. Alpin though shuts down the Barrage.
Yeah, Rocket Barrage gone awry as Alpin finds a second self-destruct in from Sloth. Gonna try and keep it going. The Bomb will not claim Smixon, who just hides behind the bot, and Resurrect is all alone on this objective. And with only 50 seconds on the clock, TPO takes the lead in map number 4.
How Giga Impact, that incredible start they had to this map, all but gone here as TPO has come alive in the last essentially 4 minutes here to get themselves back into this lead. Honest with the Continue Rush as they want to try to push it a little bit further.
We got Alpin trying to find that aggression going in. Headshot, or rather a critical hit there on it to Mr. Jade. Does end up going down. Alpin does fall in turn though, unfortunately. Sloth loses the mech though. This is going to be incredibly hard to come back from, even with the close spawns, as now it's Olnor's turn for a strong 20-player streak. And with only 10 seconds left, we're going to see the overclock in from Resurrect. There will be a contest. We're going to see the shot there onto Lincoln. They want this overclock to have the maximum impact that they can.
The fact that if you're TPO there, you couldn't get that overclock out from Resurrect puts them in a spot where, I mean, you're going to get one more fight here around the initial starting point, but there's going to probably only be maybe 1 or 2 more fights after that if Giga Impact wins it. And you look at Giga Impact, they're coming up to a couple good ultimates. Honor, though, does have Cage, so that could be something that really disrupts a lot of stuff here coming out from Giga Impact.
I mean, this overclock needs to be used early and effectively. Going to find one. There's Lincoln, dead. There's Smixon, dead. Olnor finds the pick on to Nathan, finds 2 picks, but Alpin comes through. Olnor, huge! The overclock impactful, but just not enough. And Olnor, with the help of the damage reduction, will be able to tank the self-destruct and move TPO into match point with Giga Impact, both at 2 apiece.
I mean, it was looking at the start, like at the start of this map, the TPO was still kind of in their map 2, map 3 ways, but then they gave it some time. It started getting going there. You saw the DPS line there for TPO really come back alive. You really saw Sloth maybe have their worst map since map 1 there, but they were still doing a lot. I mean, it seemed like there were huge plays coming out from both sides, whether it be the tank player or the DPS line there. It seemed like each team, they had their punches. It's like we're in a knockout kind of fight here, a boxing match, Fletch. Both these teams, they've been taking some punches to the face, but they're still standing going into our final round.
Yeah, and I mean, both of these teams fighting tooth and nail for their first win of the season, looking for that third map. Map number 5 is where we are going to see it, but not just yet. It will be up to Giga Impact to take us to map number 5. It's going to be a hybrid map coming up right after this break. All right, welcome back, everybody. A banger to start out week number 3. TPO takes Maruna Sapi to move us to a 5th map with a potential 6th map possible, because we are headed to a hybrid map here for map number 5. And with Giga Impact's selection, it's no surprise that they go to the only dive map in the hybrid pool, Numbani.
Yeah, like you said, the only map that you could really look at when you look at the map pool with hybrid and say, yep, definitely one of you prefer dive over everything else. While Hollywood is in there as well, same thing with Eichenwald. It feels like Numbani is more known for its dive throughout the majority of the map. Maybe point 3 is the only point where you would get off the dive to go over something else. But points 1 and points 2 are really, really strong with the dive. So it's a really smart map choice here by Giga Impact to bring us to this map for, because you brought it up, Fletch, potentially our final map within the series.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often we see hybrid as the final map of a series, so if a draw does happen, you know, it's often kind of offset by, you know, some of the other map types, but if a draw happens here, it's guaranteed. So, very fun. But now as we get into the bans here for map number 5, I'm genuinely, like, Giga Impact gets their pick of the litter here. Have not banned the Malga. Not exactly a comfort spot for the Malga, but it's not really surprising that the tank that every single chance that TPO has gotten to play banned for the final map of the series.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to ban the Malga here. Like you said, maybe probably not the best map for Malga, but outside of that, TPO, their tank line, or at least 2 tank players we've seen from them, really haven't shown us anything that I would say is that worrying. So you just want to get rid of the Malga because you have the Sim still there, you have the Vendetta, the Zarya, yeah, still there as well now. But what does TPO ban? Do they go after our first support ban of the series? Surprising we haven't seen that just yet. Or do they focus back in on that DPS line? They got rid of the Emre last map and worked out great for them. Do they focus on the Pharah now? Maybe the Echo? Oh, gotta be the Pharah this time around.
Yeah, that's fine. Unfortunately, it kind of feels like Fish has been really, really flexible when it comes to the flyers that they've been playing. Pharah has been the preference, I will say, for Fish, but the Echo has been incredibly impactful as well. So, two bans that make a lot of sense, especially because, you know, both of these teams have been exceptionally preferential toward that Carry Lucio backline. Not too surprising that the support bans have not come through this series. Wouldn't make much of a difference to the series at large because both these teams want to play the same backline. But more importantly, we don't see the swap ups coming in that we saw the last time an impactful hero was banned for these players. Smixon, of course, when the Symmetra was banned, went over to the tank role. And not going to see that this time as the Malga gets banned. Ulnor will remain the preferred tank for TPO. So as we get ready to come in here, question mark is on Ulnor. We can imagine Smixon remains on the Symmetra. What's the tank do?
I mean, I feel like it's either right back over to that Zarya or potentially Ramatra for them, but nope, it's going to be the Zarya instead. Hey, is Lifeweaver real? Is it going to be? It looks like it might be real. So we're going to actually have a Lifeweaver come out here, and maybe the first time all series we've really seen a big disruption on that support line here. I know we saw TPO play the Juno last map, but completely different for them here this time around. But I mean, you look over at, you have that Zarya, you have that Vendetta on that TPO lineup. That should be strong no matter what the support line is here, but a lot of burst healing coming out now from TPO. So you're gonna have to play very, very cautiously at times for Giga Impact. Really not the biggest shock. Like you said, Fish has been pretty flexible when it comes to their flyers. Just gonna, with one being banned out, they're just gonna go straight over to the other, but Resurrect back over to that Emre here, Fletch, which we saw what they were able to do on maps 2 and maps 3. They didn't necessarily struggle last map, but I mean, the impact they had on Emre in maps 2 and 3 was insane.
Yeah, I'm clearly very comfortable on our newest DPS, or one of them, I should say. As we look for the engagement, Fish able to get rid of the immortality field as Sloth has just inted into the backline to get those kills on to the supports, and it worked out, I will say, very, very well for the side of Giga Impact. It's just Alpin and Ulnor left to tell the tale, and that'll be a very quick capture there for the side of Giga Impact.
Yeah, the support lines there, the support line for TPO was playing really weird. They were playing off on their own. Normally you want to be at least around one of the tanks or one of the DPS players there, but no, they just went off on their own, making themselves easily diveable. And yeah, you lose Alpin here, but you do have Ulnor charged up to 100%, but you need to keep him alive.
Important is, especially as Alpin has been bursted down by that Emre. Ulnor trying to stick around with as much charge as humanly possible. Of course, it withers away very, very quickly, but I mean, Giga Impact just continues to find picks outside of fights before they can even begin. This is just absolutely brutal right now. Smixon and Alpin both very, very low. Sloth gonna lose the mech here. So a very, very good track there from Ulnor, as they will take it down to Fish, and Sloth to finally take a breath here on Numbani.
Yeah, I was about to say, if TPO does not win that fight there, even though you're close to ultimates, it might be time for a swap here, but you win that fight, so you're going to be able to build up to really a lot of these ultimates. Same thing could be said for Giga Impact. You have the Override Protocol, you have Duplicate, you're not that far away from Bomb and both your support ultimates here right now. Really, you could see 10 ultimates come out this fight. I believe that that's going to be the case. Smixon, I imagine once the fight breaks down, they have that Photon Barrier, it's going to go right up across the map.
All right, well, here is Override Protocol in from Resurrect, looking toward the Lifeweaver. Doesn't quite find it with the help of a bubble there from Ulnor. who has the Graviton Surge, and Tree of Life has been dispatched. Resurrect needs to stay alive, but Olnor will be able to track down Nathan Fish on the duplicate, onto the Vendetta. Not going to be able to find any kind of real value there. Sloth losing the mech will go down, and Giga Impact have been effectively stalled here very, very well.
This is exactly what TPO needed. They got rolled on the first point now. Even if they end up losing the second point, you've at least eaten away at some of that time bank. 2 minutes already gone. You only invested 2 ultimates in that last fight. Same thing could be said for Giga Impact, but you're still holding on to your grab. You're still holding on to an Amp Matrix, which will really slow down a lot of the members of Giga Impact whenever they decide to start pushing some corners here. Beat though ready for Nathan. Gonna be something you're really looking at here, especially as the grab is about to be is ready to go for Ulnar.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the self-destruct, get back into mech here. Nobody's gonna fall to that ultimate just yet. Here's the Graviton Surge though. Mr. Jade actually good for one, but the Sunring Blade combo, not one that you usually see. Taking down Resurrect and Nathan. Swift step away from the Vendetta. Know that they are a problem, but of course it's Alpin on the Vendetta, so they're gonna take over in a 1v3 and not be too worried about it in the end.
A 2-for-1 ult trade right there, and for TPO, you feel pretty happy about it, but now you're looking over at Giga Impact. Nathan didn't use beat in that fight. The grab, I believe they probably died before, right before they were gonna hit it there, but now they still have it for this fight, so they're in a really good spot now. Jade, though, again, Consumer's ready to go here. They can play fast if they want to, but Sloth, always be looking for them. They like to dive into that backline, and that's immediately what you see them doing.
Need it though. That sound barrier doesn't hit Sloth. That is absolutely brutal for the side of Giga Impact, but of course, there's the other playmaker for the side of Giga Impact. Resurrect finds 2, even in the face of a Diva without the mech. And it will be Giga Impact moving toward the capture here, but they're still kind of far back on this corner. Will there be a touch?
There could be a touch coming out here from TPO. I mean, you could see the image come out, and Honest not that far away from a tree, so they do have some tools here just to try to get this point back in their control, and they're going to be able to get a touch here and actually just force Giga Impact back.
Yeah, the touch comes through. Kitsune Rush force Graviton, or rather the duplicate from Fishknot will lead to a Graviton Surge, which will lead to a couple of picks. Almost no bubbles, but it will be a very healthy charge here for the Zarya, who unfortunately with 5 seconds before another bubble comes through will go down. Alpin, of course, we've seen this guy take over fights so many times, but without that block, it's going to be difficult. We're going to see, it's impossible. It's impossible to kill this character.
And even without the Zarya, I mean, you just saw Honest and Smixon get back. That's the only reason that Alpin probably survives out there, and now TPO in a good spot here to full hold. Photon Barrier about to be put out here by Smixon as they're waiting for the opportunity here. Just gotta do it before the fight even really breaks out here, so they want to try to win this one early here.
Yeah, I think you just take your time here, wait for this Photon Barrier to go down, then you throw Bob in for Resurrect, but Sloth cannot lose the mech like that. Bob is ready to go. Will enter the fray here for the moment, but Alpin slashing up Resurrect, cutting them down to size. Fishknot does get the trade though, so if Sloth can get back into the mech here, this is a very, very winnable fight, but it's going to be very, very difficult with a Graviton Surge eating up 2 of those players, and now with only 20 seconds left on the clock, this is going to be tough, Dex.
It's gonna be tough, but I mean, Giga Impact they have beat. Outside of that, though, they really have nothing. Ulnar did use grab last fight, but you look over at TPO. Both support ultimates could be ready to go here. Even if they need to touch Thundering Blade, though.
Thundering Blade does go through the overhealth there, so it just completely ignores the sound barrier. Unfortunately for Nathan, the Thundering Blade is just too much to overcome, and there will not be a map number 6 win condition set for TPO.
And I mean, what a round for TPO. Again, it started off maybe the worst possible way for them. It was their backline being completely dove out there by Sloth, and it just fell apart after that. It even took them a little bit to get going on the second point, but once they finally got a fight win under their belts, they looked like a different team. They were able to calm down, able to kind of play the game they wanted to play. And you know what? We're looking at Honest talking about themselves on that Life Weaver. The Life Weaver, I thought, did an incredible job there. You don't necessarily Okay, you don't necessarily see a lot of Life Weaver and really anything, but there are certain situations where the Weaver can make a huge difference. I think the Weaver made an insane difference last round.
Yeah, I mean, the life grip kept Alpin alive 2 or 3 times there. Like, it didn't pull Alpin across the map, and that's what you kind of want to see. It gives that invulnerability for a moment, allows them to be healed up, even if it's just a little bit. And, I mean, Alpin was unkillable in the back half of that map, or that round, I should say. It was kind of ridiculous how many fights Alpin kind of just won on their own. The last 2 or 3 fights kind of just relied on Alpin not going down, which was ridiculous. So, I mean, it's going to have to be an excellent hold here for Giga Impact if they want to win this series.
Yeah, it's going to be here, but I think you're starting to see this Symmetra here for Smixon really find the same value it's finding map 1. Well, again, they're not playing as fast as they were map 1. The TPs are really starting to work out for this team very, very well, getting them in and out of fights just as quickly as you want them to as they're getting set up for the go to the high ground. Resurrector will find one, but it's going to be traded almost immediately.
Yeah, Resurrect falling down there, doesn't have the quick step that Kiriko does. Unfortunately, Sloth and Nathan both coming through with a pick 1 each. But Mr. Jade going down kind of sucks for the side of Giga Impact, but goodbye. Yeah, I mean, you see there that Zarya does not have Steadfast anymore, so easier to get those boops.
Yeah, and honestly, that fight was kind of already over there for TPO. Ulnor was probably looking for the edge anyway to get quickly back to their team. But that's not necessarily the worst fight there for TPO, using a little bit more communication, because they were still playing split like right there. The TP came out, I believe only 1 or 2 people took it, while the rest of the team was just being harassed by Sloth. So again, this is a team that plays well when they play together. You need to keep all 5 together.
Yeah, Resurrect staying alive here is absolutely pivotal. We're going to see them go in here. Alpin trying to take care of these characters, but Fishnot good for 2. Resurrect with a quick 3 burst onto the side of Alpin, and Sloth to clean it up. The dive not quite coming through there with Smixon and Alpin trying to take care of Resurrect.
And I mean, again, this is a point right now. You maybe have one more fight if you're TPO before you have to say, hey, we need to make some swaps. Ornor hasn't even built up to halfway to their grab. We're about halfway through this first point right now. You look over at Giga Impact, they have Bomb. They're going to have both their DPS ultimates. Granted, their support lines struggled, but these fights have been very weird. Like I said, they've been playing very split off away from each other so far, as you do see where both Mr. Jade and Nathan are.
I mean, 3 ultimates in the hands of Giga Impact, and we're gonna see the teleporter come through, and Alpin and Ulnor both just kind of exploding. I'm gonna be honest, Dex, I don't think I've ever seen a 20-player kill streak in 1 objective. That's crazy. This guy is so good at Diva.
Yeah,
like,
again, and that's Hunter. I mean, my bad. It's Fletch. Think about this.
Hey,
sorry,
you've been around him,
Fletch.
bro, but
Yeah, Fletch. Think about this. There's only been 4 fights. They've been a part of every E-limit.
yeah, it's crazy.
But I mean, again, look at Giga Impact, Bomb, both their DPS ultimates here. TPO, they have Amp Matrix, but this is another quick fight, which it's looking like it's gonna be. You won't have any ultimates here other than your Amp Matrix. What for what could potentially be final fight?
Yeah, I mean, this has been absolutely ironclad here for the side of Giga Impact, as we're waiting to see, you know, what these teams are trying to stage. Fishnot sees them on the outside, but Smixon is just dead again. This is absolutely brutal. Gonna see the Vendetta duplicate there from the side of Fishnot, who has put themselves in a very awkward position. Will go down to Alpin, as the side of Giga Impact is pushing their luck here. Smixon very low again, 30 seconds on the clock, throwing out that nade, gonna try and deny it. Sloth does have the self-destruct, gonna get back in here. It goes again, and Smixon leaving that immortality field. Alpin pulling Resurrect to the ground, getting rid of that override protocol there, and it will be able to secure TPO this first objective here.
Basically, just before overtime, TPO keeps themselves alive. Giga Impact, I think it really all started with Fish maybe going a little bit too far in with their own ultimate, kind of leaving the rest of their team in a spot where yeah, they're already down 1, and now look at them. They have both their support ultimates, which granted should have been used last fight, but no one was around for Giga Impact, and now TPO has 4 really good ultimates of their own here. They really only need about 1 fight to get into final fight territory.
Ready to go, but Resurrect throws out the nade again. Smixon just caught out the last 4 fights in a row. And you know, of course, TPO did manage to take care of business in the last one, but in this here, they're just gonna have to play it safe, and this is just giving Giga Impact to catch up in that ultimate race. Gonna see Olnor looking for the Graviton Surge with 80 charge here, gonna find a couple, and Cleanse will come through. Can Fish not stay alive? The answer is no for right now, but Resurrect, dude, it's not, that's not nice, man. Smixon is just a chill guy trying to stay alive, but Resurrect is just kind of playing bully ball right now with this Symmetra.
I mean, again, Resurrect has been able to, no matter what hero they've been playing throughout the series, show that they are an expert with them. Another override protocol already online. You're still holding on to both your support movements right now. If you're getting Impact.
What?
The tree comes out. That was a mistake and a half right there, as it was killed immediately after the tree was planted.
That looked intentional, Dex. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really confused at this point. 51 seconds left. It was a great hold to start off. They only got a couple of extra minutes to cap this point, and now, I mean, Alpin caught out in no man's land. The sound barrier used where Sundering Blade, it can't hurt them. Lingen, no immortality field. They're 9 HP and a dream, and actually gonna get away. Oh, never mind.
I was gonna
Resurrect
say,
exists.
keep backing up. You never know what's gonna happen, and now that really puts you into a spot where you're in final fight territory. And basically, just get back to the cart. You're gonna have Sundering Blade. You're gonna have your Amp Matrix, but again, another override protocol. I think Mr. Jade's still holding on to their consumer rush they've been holding on to since their first final fight. I'm back on the first point. There's Sundering Blade coming out, but one bubble already invested. They're looking for one. Not gonna be able to find it.
Yeah, that's one ultimate out of the way. The one that may have won them the last fight in the first half. We're going to see the Amp Matrix down and trying to take advantage of the fact that, you know, they're on the other side of the Amp Matrix. They can't use it if the Diva's in their face behind them. Smixon does come through huge, but Resurrect gets a trade. And it will be all red in the kill feed. Tree of Life almost here, but not close enough. Giga Impact going to be the team that gets their first win of the season here in week number 3. A 5-map banger here as Giga Impact enters the win column.
I mean, it needed to go all 5 maps for these two teams for one of them to get their first win. TPO, they had their chances, but Giga Impact, they honestly looked like the more consistent team throughout this entire series. TPO, though, I almost thought they were going to be able to do it on this map here, but they just got shut down one too many times after capping point 1 there. Again, good play by both these two teams. Giga Impact, though, gets their first win of the season here. And honestly, it's going to be really interesting because this Giga Impact team, they definitely have some players on this team that look really, really good. Maybe this win starts a little bit of a streak for them.
I mean, listen, right? There's not really much else you can say, right? But TPO also had a couple of firsts. You know, they hadn't won a map this season before this series, right? And they ran this really, really tight. So I think there are great things to take away for both of these teams for this series. As long as Vendetta is strong, I think that TPO has a chance, right? Because Alpin is a maniac on that character, putting them in a position to win as long as they are alive. As for the side of Giga Impact, just everybody came to play today. Mr. Jade, Nathan, the support line. I mean, appearing in the kill feed a lot in those last 3 maps. You know, we talked about how the ones that the supports we don't talk about are the ones making the most impact. They had a visible impact this time in the game. Resurrect, absolute maniac on whatever DPS they decided to pick up, whether it was the Emray or the Sojourn. Fish not flexible, able to take advantage of the weaknesses of TPO in that they didn't really have a dedicated hit scan player, right, to take care of those flyers, and Sloth just absolutely slaughtering day in, day out on the Diva as soon as that Diva ban was lifted. Giga Impact looked like an entirely different team.
Yeah, they really did. And you go back to that first map, and we talked about after the first and second map were played, it was a tale of two maps. And then, I mean, map 3 was almost the same as what we saw on map 2. Map 4, I mean, gotta give TPO a lot of credit for really fighting back after getting down. I believe it was 70, maybe 90 meters there. TPO ended up winning that map. And then TPO, I mean, I thought once they solidified on that second point defense, it was like, okay, they figured out how to beat it. They really figured out how to slow it down. Then it just took them forever to really get started. But granted, they were able to really punish Giga Impact with Fish maybe overextending a little bit, using their ultimate, giving themselves that slight advantage they need to finally get the ball rolling there on Numbani. But it was just a little bit too late for them to do anything there. I mean, Giga Impact, again, you talked about it there. All these players got on the kill feed a lot. We talked about them a lot. This looks like a team that has had some struggles, but like I said, this victory here might be the start of a streak here, because this team seems like if they have the right heroes being played, the right players playing those heroes, it seems like a team that's going to be very, very hard to stop.
Yeah, momentum is absolutely huge in competition, and Giga Impact now has a little bit of that. But we'll ask them how they're feeling about this win. We know how we feel about it. We thought that they played exceptionally well. We'll get a quick interview with one of our representatives from the winning team today. Victory goes to Giga Impact. We'll go to a quick break, and when we come back, we will have a talk with one of their players.
My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got Fish out here from our winning team, Giga Impact. Fish, it was a very, very close series here to get y'all's first win of the season on the board. So my first question is, like, how are y'all feeling getting y'all's first W?
We're feeling pretty good, to be fair. I think there's a thing where it's like I'm the coach, so I'm not a player, but it's kind of good to get our first. This probably wasn't a game we were targeting as well as one of the probably ones that was particularly winnable. So it feels probably even better since that's the case.
Let's talk about the game now a little bit. Going from map 1 to map 2. Map 1, you guys seem like you guys really struggled going into map 2. Or what was kind of the mindset of you trying to maybe reset everyone going into map 2? Like, what were you telling the team?
To be honest, like, I think a lot of the time when I'm in, like, it's not really like a best case scenario, but normally we're playing sim. Like, I'm a bit of a UB character. I just call everything playing sim, but we just didn't really feel like the sim was going to be really difficult into Mega, especially because the idea of, like, it felt like they understood that if they didn't run before we TP'd, then it's just, like, pretty much impossible to win. So I think the idea was we knew we were going to change up, and basically the only other hero I can play is Pharah. So we just decided to take it to a map where I could play Pharah, and we felt like it was winnable. And Resurrect really wanted to play Emre. Like, he'd been playing Emre really well, so he played Emre, and he played really well as well.
Yeah, I mean, even with the slight flexibility of your DPS line there, it seemed like you guys did enough to really disrupt a lot of stuff on the other side there for TPO. But now let's talk about Sloth here. It's, again, map 1 to map 2, night and day different. They seem like an unstoppable force on that D.Va. We saw, I believe it was 25 kills in a row on Route 66, 30 kill streak on Atlas there. I mean, they seem like that once that D.Va's in their hands, you guys could win any fight.
Yeah, you have been killed by Southsloth. Like, it's just D.Va, right? Like, if you're good at D.Va, you can just one-shot people. And, like, he's got the D.Va gene. He just one-shots people. It's, like, so useful to play in a D.Va team where your D.Va can just one-shot people. And, yeah, I mean, he's a good player as well, and, like, he knows how to live and stuff like that, and he's very smart. But the main thing really is just, like, one-shotting people right on the hero. So
yeah, I mean, y'all looked very, very effective as soon as Sloth was allowed to play that D.Va. And I don't want you to talk too much down on yourself. Your Echo looked very, very strong. I mean, you know, only playing Pharah, you know, I will say your Echo looked great. But for now, Fish, you know, as the coach of this team, like, congratulations on helping them get to their first victory of the season. I mean, before we send you out here, I just want to know, like, how are y'all feeling, like, moving forward further into the season as we inch closer to the mid-season?
I feel like this win definitely puts us, like, on a positive note, because I think maybe we were feeling a bit down about CGL, because I think we're probably a tier 2 high than where we actually should be. Because the idea is we have a few players who are GM5 peak because they're Kaizen players. So they peaked GM5, but then they wanted to play CGL, so we have to play GM tier. It's probably too high for us. But we've played well, actually. We played well in our second game as well, actually. Actually, we played well in all the games. The first game we played, I played Sim. And, like, honestly, we were probably, like, 5% understanding of the Sim away from winning the game. The second one, we took was it Orpheus to map 5? Like, I mean, they're, like, the best console players in the game. So, like, that felt really good as well. And then this one was just kind of, maybe we didn't feel that confident because we didn't really know who they were. And a lot of the time in, like, this GM tier, if you don't know who they are, like, we don't know what to expect. I think they're probably going to be quite good. But, you know, they are really good. But I felt like we did play, like, really well, like, above the level that we've been playing so far.
Right, well,
and I've never played Echo before. That's my first, like, I must have, like, 34 minutes on Echo.
Well, you really could have fooled me. I thought the Echo looked great. It was clear to me that with the duplicates that you didn't really have a whole lot of experience on the other stuff, as you've self-admitted. But yeah, I thought the Echo looked great. Maybe the flyer gene just kind of transferred over. But for now, Fish, thank you to come talking to us. Is there anything else you'd like to bring up that maybe we did not, or any shout-outs that you would like to make?
Yeah, I guess just the backline, right? Because like Nathan played really well, like always lives. And I mean, Jade's our Sigma player. Jade is like our max. So he's in on flex support, and he actually does like a really good job. Even if he doesn't carry me before the fight, like 90% of the time, which I just die. That map made me look awful, by the way. I just never got carried before the fight. But yeah, well played, Jade. Actually, even though I don't know if he plays flex support, but he played really well.
Told us.
All right. Well, I mean, all 5 of y'all came to play today. Get the victory, Fish. Thank you for coming to talk to us, and we wish you the best of luck in the rest of this first half of the season.
Cheers. Thank you, guys.
All right, Dex. This is the only game on here today, I believe, that is scheduled. Giga Impact gets the win in a barn burner against TPO, Tank Players only. Absolute banger.
Yeah, it really was. And even after those first 2 maps where they were just opposites of each other, when we went into that first break, me and you talked about it a little bit, how we could see this one going 5 for the reason that we saw it here. I mean, TPO, they are a team that it seems like they play a lot better when they feel confident in themselves, have some momentum on their side. And you can go back to Runasapi, where that really was the case for them there. They looked, once they got control of that bot, they looked like the much better team. Giga Impact, though, they got off to a good start, and I think that's a huge reason why they ended up winning that final map there. And like we heard from Fish there, I think this is a really good victory for them. Yeah, they're playing up, but we have definitely seen some teams in the past that are playing up that surprisingly do really well, because they have been playing together as a core squad a lot longer than some of these other teams have.
I mean, yeah, that was something that I was thinking about as you were talking about it, right? Is like the what's the word? It's
Start describing it. I might be able to help you.
It's coordination and synergy. Synergy. Yeah, no, synergy is way more important than I think a lot of people really give it credit for, right? If you are in line with the rest of your team, a team can be better than the sum of its parts, right? You can have, a high diamond player, mid-masters player playing up into the GM tier, as, I assume that's what Fish was talking about, as, hit some GM5 peaks, fell down a little bit more. But if your players truly trust each other and are willing to listen and play together and figure it out together, you can play to a much higher level than you would have ever believed that you could. Maybe you won't be, winning world championships or anything like that, but, you can surprise yourself if you find a team that you truly trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that goes a long way, but especially when you look over at the team that lost here tonight in TPO. Again, I think this is a team that they've looked good tonight. Unfortunately, they're 0-3 to start the season, but I mean, we have definitely seen some teams run the table in their last couple games to put them into a spot where it's like, hey, this is a team that's figured it all out. They could make the playoffs still. They still have that shot here. Granted, though, they really need to get started, but I think tonight, even with them losing here, I think this was a much better performance, and I think they would be happy with the performance they had tonight.
Well, they need to be, right? Because, like we said earlier, first map wins of the season for TPO. They're going to need that momentum as they move forward. Not going to make it into the mid-season tournament, but still an opportunity to make it into the postseason. But for now, Dex, this series has gone on long enough. Almost 2.5 hours on this one alone. 5-map Giga banger. Giga Impact comes out on top here in our EUGM tier matchup to start up week number 3. No more matches tonight, unfortunately, on the other side here in the NA. But there will be some more tomorrow and Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Every day of the week, just about, we'll have something. So thank you all for watching, and we will see y'all tomorrow.